You are not born in a samurai castle, you are born in a stinking shack, a more honest beginning than most legends allow. By 6, you understand the rules. Samurai are gods, and you are the dirt under their sandals. They can kill you just to test a sword, and nobody important will lose sleep over it. Then your grandfather arrives, the answer to a question no child should have to ask. His first lesson: if you want to live, learn how to disappear before the world notices you. The enemy will not wait for you to warm up, so neither will he. One cracked branch means one blow. Silence is not style, it is armor. At 10, you learn the truth. Sometimes survival means doing nothing and remembering everything. He tells you to remember his face. Hatred is useless unless it learns patience. Childhood ends here. From this point on, your life belongs to the shadow. Your first mission is not glorious, just practical. Burn the rice and make a stronger man weaker by morning. There is no magic here, only mud, waiting, and the hope that no one hears your heart trying to escape first. When the sentry sneezes, you stop breathing for what feels like half your life. Fire does what swords cannot. It turns food into panic and panic into strategy. Then the lesson becomes simpler. Run now or die with the harvest. You lie in ice water for 2 hours because being miserable is still preferable to being found. Congratulations, you did not die. And in this line of work that counts as early talent, shinobi tools are not elegant, they are cheap, ugly, and designed by people who cannot afford to fail prettily. A weapon is useful only if it ends the problem faster than fear begins to speak. The first mission does not make you a hero, it only teaches you that survival and success are almost the same thing. Shuriken are not anime stars, they're jagged metal meant to blind and slow your enemy. Poisons don't need style, only timing. A drop in the right place ends the duel. Forget the black costume. Real night work prefers dark blue, brown, and passing for unimportant. Most of the time, your best weapon is becoming nobody special enough to notice twice. Your first kill. A merchant named Hideo sold your village for profit. He left 3 people swinging. Grandfather says it's your turn. Innocence is now too expensive. He thrashes, chokes, and soils himself. A life becomes weight in your hands. You vomit for half an hour. Your body still remembers it wasn't built for this. He says you'll get used to it. That's more frightening than the murder itself. At 16, you're a shadow for hire. Cheap, useful, and already difficult to bring back. At 16, you're a shinobi. No longer a child, just a tool for rent. The samurai hire you for the tasks they want completed without staining their own honor. Tonight, you're a harmless monk with perfect manners. Your mission: poison the well. One wrong look gets you gutted. Smile like a man who knows no hate. He spits on you and you bow lower. Surviving humiliation is cheaper than dying proud. Most of your work is just waiting until your body forgets what comfort ever felt like. Death sits in a simple bladder pouch. Poison doesn't care about dignity. By morning, the water kills just as well. That is the elegance of your trade. You will never see their faces, but you will know exactly what your hands have done. No glory, just patience, lies, and death on a schedule. The truth about being a ninja is disappointing. 90% of the time, you're just listening. Information beats the blade. Once you know who owes money and where the walls are weak, the killing practically schedules itself. Your equipment is a murderer's toolbox built by an angry peasant engineer. Bombs, hooks, and poison. A bomb isn't for winning battles, only for creating enough confusion to vanish into the night. Spikes on the road travel faster than pursuit. Pain is the ultimate barrier. Walls are only obstacles for those who have the luxury of staying obvious. Then comes the assignment. Kill Lord Nobuhira for 50 ryo. Enough gold to pretend your life has value. But 50 ryo feels like a curse when the price of failure is a week of torture before death. When night comes, you enter through the waste, like what the world already thinks you are. You're crawling through human waste, trying not to gag loud enough to get executed. Above you sleeps a man worth 50 ryo. Between you stand 4 guards and a ceiling. This isn't legendary. It's trying not to shake while murdering a stranger through architecture. One perfect cut buys you 1 second of success and an avalanche of noise. You flee like a shadow, not elegantly, but one mistake ahead of disaster. Gravity is loyal to no profession, and pain arrives right on time. The mission succeeded, the escape failed. History is only whichever part was cheaper to write down. Silence would matter more if your partner weren't already selling everyone for life. You survive, but rescue is just another word for debt with better timing. Most ninja work is sitting still until your muscles forget what comfort used to mean. The best kind of death looks ordinary until it reaches someone's stomach. You don't need to kill men one by one when water can do it efficiently. By morning, the water will look the same and kill just as well. That is true elegance. You will never see their faces, but that does not make the deaths less yours. This is the reality. 90% of the time you are listening, not killing. Information is worth more than a blade. Once you find a weakness, it's just timing. Real ninja equipment looks more like a peasant's revenge kit refined by experience. If your tools are simple and fast enough to save you, they are already perfect. You understand now. You are not a warrior, you are a method. Then comes the mission expensive enough to get you killed properly. Assassination begins not with bravery, but with bribing and learning where targets relieve themselves. You enter through sewage because strong men rarely defend the place they're most ashamed of. History forgets the part where you crawl through waste to reach the goal. Above you lies the target. Between you and the gold stand 4 guards and your pulse. The legendary moment isn't heroic. It's just careful murder performed through architecture. One perfect strike buys you exactly 1 second before the castle awakens. Gravity is a ruthless critic and always arrives at the worst possible moment. The mission succeeds, the escape fails, and history will pretend they're the same. Gold looked like freedom yesterday. Now it's just torture with better lighting. They work on you for days, and you say nothing, but betrayal is already happening elsewhere. In the end, the body survives pain longer than trust survives fear. You live only because another clan decides you are worth more indebted than dead. Then the wars end. The country no longer needs shadows once it has finished using them. Your clan is dissolved. Some are executed, and the rest are told to disappear forever. You become a farmer under a fake name, a slow burial in the dirt. Your children never know who you were, but your body remembers every single night. By middle age, you are no master, only a damaged tool the world has forgotten. When the past finds you, your body reacts before your mind can even pretend innocence. You die in dirt, unnamed and uncelebrated. The most honest ending for a real shinobi. Then the wars end. The country no longer needs shadows once it has finished using them. Your clan is dissolved. Half are killed, and the rest of you are told to disappear for real this time. So you become a farmer under a new name. Less a second life than a burial delayed by paperwork. Hands that open throats now spend their days begging grain from the earth. People think you're strange. They don't know what professional paranoia looks like. Your family never learns who you were, but your body remembers every mission on their behalf. Memory does not leave because peace arrives. It simply gets quieter and waits for night. At 45, you look 60. Trauma and weather are a heavy price for this profession. You almost believe the lie yourself, that maybe you are only a farmer now. But a buried weapon is still a weapon, and the past has a very long memory. Peace does not heal you. It only gives your injuries enough silence to speak clearly. The broken ankle, poisoned lungs, and one clouded eye, they never truly forgave you. You built a family, but part of you always remained outside, counting distances. In dreams, you are still working. Men like you never truly retire. Survival in peace is just silence and routine. Never give curiosity anything to grab. The body becomes ordinary, but the mind never receives the message. Then one morning, the past stops circling and walks directly to your gate. They ask if you are a shinobi of Iga. You answer with the oldest lie. You have the wrong man. But muscle memory is unforgiving. Your body knows before your mind finishes denying it. You tried to become someone else, but the world has come to collect the original. When the blade comes, your body answers before thought does, because training lasts longer than mercy. You fight like a machine built to end threats quickly, having no reason to look noble. But speed has limits. The sword enters your belly as if it already knew the way. You die at your own door, in front of the only people you ever protected. Your wife holds your head. The truth would only hurt those who never chose this life. The last thing you see is not an enemy, but the faces of your family. Your body is burned without record, exactly as a real shinobi expected and deserved. You die as you lived, unseen, useful, and gone before the story admits you were real. By the next morning, the world is practical again. Poor villages cannot grieve for long. Your family inherits no honor, only the leftovers of a secret life they were never allowed to know. Even the woman who held you at the end receives no truth, only evidence. Your children know their father is dead, but they do not know who exactly died. You were never fully a farmer or a shinobi, only one body forced to carry both. Villages shrink violence into gossip so they can keep eating dinner. Your family protects you by helping your lies outlive you a little longer. Death takes the body first, then the right to explain yourself. You spent your life disappearing, now even grief must do it quietly. The family remains, but the man who lived there never truly existed in daylight. Lords are recorded, monks are recorded, battles are recorded, but men like you are designed to fall out of history on purpose. The roads you knew in darkness better than other men knew their own homes are erased without ceremony. This is the final discipline of the shinobi, not stealth in life, but total erasure after death. Time does what no torture ever could. It removes you without needing force. A few people remember your outline, but almost nobody remembers your real shape. The more identities you wore in life, the easier death finds it to scatter them. Your family inherits the consequences of your life, but not the language to describe it. History keeps what flatters power and throws away what explains how power actually worked. The land remembers you only as a pressure that passed over it briefly and badly. First, history forgets you, and only after that does myth get permission to begin. Once the real man disappears, the lie finally becomes safe enough to sell. The myth is beautiful for one simple reason. It removes everything true: the filth, the hunger, the fear, and the smell. Real shinobi tools looked like poverty weaponized, not stylish accessories for tourists. The less evidence survives, the easier it is to improve the dead into entertainment. People love the fantasy because real patience is boring and real murder is ugly. History preserves what can be sold quickly and remembered neatly. You are not remembered as you were overwritten by something more convenient. The real body vanishes into weather, but the fake body becomes eternal. The world does not just forget you, it replaces you with a better poster. You died as a shadow, and the only thing left behind is a lie sharp enough to outlive you. The past does not knock politely. It arrives wearing swords and asking questions it already thinks it knows. You tell them they have the wrong man, which is the most honest lie left in your life. Your mind is tired, but the body still remembers exactly how to survive. You do not fight like a legend, you fight like a machine built for ending problems fast. The second man dies, and for 1 second it feels like the peaceful years never happened. Then the final blade arrives, and it enters so easily it almost feels personal. You die at home, in front of the only people you ever tried to protect from yourself. Your wife holds you without understanding the truth, the kindest thing history ever gives you. The last thing you see is not an enemy, only the faces of the people you loved. You began in dirt, and you end in dirt. Simple symmetry, almost like mercy. Your body is burned without honor because real shinobi do not receive heroic funerals, they receive disposal. What remains of you leaves faster than memory can hold it. Your name enters no chronicle because shadows are useful only while they are moving and disposable the moment they stop. The law of the shinobi is to leave no trace, and in the end even your death obeys it better than your life ever did. When your life is totaled up, it looks less like legend and more like a butcher's ledger written by someone who hated sunlight. You spent your life risking everything and still died with almost nothing because most of the money always climbed upward before it ever reached you. At the moment of death, your worldly wealth can be summarized by one bowl and clothes not worth stealing. The world does not pause for your ending because history rarely notices the tools it used up. All that pain, discipline, and obedience dissolves into weather almost immediately. You lived without a name, and now even your ashes refuse to stay visible for long. 400 years later, the world remembers you as merchandise, which is a perfectly insulting ending. The myth is beautiful because it removes everything true: the filth, the hunger, the fear, and the smell. Real shinobi dressed like nobodies and carried tools built from poverty, not theatrical silhouettes. It feels sharp and cool, but it was mostly spying, waiting, and killing strangers for a bowl of rice. The lie survives because better costumes are easier to sell than the truth of crawling through human waste. You were never a hero. You were just a weapon with a pulse and a quick expiry date. So, what were you? A patriot, a murderer, or just another broken man shaped by a brutal century? History replaced you with a legend. You died as a shadow, and the world still thinks shadows look cool.